Hello and welcome to today's live stream. Today we're going to be talking about the new Conn 6D. So those of you who know about the old 6D will probably be telling yourselves, that's not a 6D, it's a Kruspe-Wrap horn. Well, this is the newly redesigned 6D. They took the tapers from the bell and the lead pipe from the original 6D from the 1930s, which if you find one of those old 6Ds, those are really nice horns. And they put them on a Kruspe style horn. So they got rid of the old wrap. I don't know exactly why. I have no inside information here. But it was a very unique wrap, not really used anymore. It was ergonomically awkward, although I think the wrap could have been made better to be more ergonomically good, but as it was being made, it was ergonomically awkward with a really big circle. And I think they just wanted to freshen it up a bit. Now, if they had asked me, I would have changed the name from the Conn 6D to something else, especially for those of you in the know. In the last few years, the 6D really has not had a good reputation. It's been mostly relegated to being a beginner instrument for, for school French horn classes, and you can find them easily in used condition at $500,000 at the very, very low end because they were not well-regarded instruments. And this is completely different. The new 6D is being marketed by Conn as a professional instrument. But is it truly a professional instrument? I mean, you can call anything professional that you want. But I will say I do know some professionals who are using this horn. And that's because it's really unique. By using the old 6D tapers, this is a medium bell throat, about the size that you would find on a modern Geyer style horn. It's made of yellow brass, and it has a lead pipe similar to what you would find on a modern Geyer style horn. So what you get is a horn that has a lot of the playing characteristics of the Kruspe-Wrap, but it has the compact, brighter sound that's found in most modern orchestral sections. Um, Sound-wise, this horn would find a home much better in a section of Geyer-style horns than it would be in a section of Conn 8D players. So this really makes this horn unique. I can't think of another horn on the market and being sold today that really slots into that same category. A yellow brass, medium belled, Kruspe-style horn. And I don't know how well this will be received in general, but I do have to commend Conn for even making this. Because I could see where a much easier decision would have been to just slot this completely out of the lineup and, just rely on the 7D for the lower end horns, which is a smaller wrap Geyer style horn. But they've continued the 6D in a professional model. So let's talk a little bit more about the specs of the Conn 6D. So it comes with, and I have to say this about all of the modern screw bell Conns, this really nice faux leather case, which is sold separately and which I have sold separately because it is a nice case. It has room for your horn, 2 mutes, and accessories, so it is a useful case. And although I haven't seen any of this is a fairly new case, so I haven't seen any of them after years of use, but it seems like it's made really well. And I would think that it's probably going to hold up. It also comes with a Halton Farkas MC mouthpiece, although for most you're going to want to find a different mouthpiece. Not because the MC is bad, but I fully believe in the customization of mouthpieces. You really should be using a mouthpiece that works for you and not just the mouthpiece that comes in the box with the horn. Okay, so let us take a look at some of the specs here. Camera 4, I plugged it into the wrong place. Okay, so this is the Conn 6D that I'm holding here. And if you notice, it is a demo. It's been taken to different shows by Conn. And so it is at demo pricing. Normally this horn would cost $5,800, $5,799. And this horn is $4,295. Just in case you're interested, that's a huge deal for a horn that is basically new. It is a new horn that just has a deep discount attached for all intents and purposes. So I didn't actually realize this until I started reading Conn's website, but apparently the first 6D had change valves in the Schmidt style, like the Conn 2D. I haven't seen one of those old 6Ds, but I have seen a 2D, which is shockingly a good horn. It's just any of them that you find now were made in the 1920s, so they are all very, very old. Let me do the picture thing. Here we go. All right. This horn, it's easy to play, just like most Geyer style horns, although the blow is different. So Geyer style horns, I find that you can't dump as much air into it as a Kruspe style horn. If you dump a lot of air into a Geyer style horn, you tend to get this really tight, whiny sound. And so you have to play with the horn and not fight against the horn. On the Kruspe style horns, that phenomenon, it can still happen when you get to a certain amount of air, but it doesn't happen as readily. You know what? I think I'm just going to demonstrate that. This is my horn, which is yellow brass Geyer style instrument. And I'm going to overblow it in order to show I'm going to overblow it to show an unpleasant sound. So as you can see, that was not a great sound. So I was just blowing the air way too fast. But if I use that same air in the Conn 6D, a Kruspe style horn, so you can see it's much more forgiving. So in that way, if you like to use a lot of air, the Kruspe style horn might be a better choice for you. And this is a good horn because it still gets you that Geyer sound profile. Okay, looking down at the specs here, which is what I was looking for to begin with. So like I said, yellow brass horn, nickel silver slide tubes and slides, which is what I tend to recommend just for longevity. All yellow brass horns, so horns with yellow brass sleeves and slides, will wear faster because yellow brass is a softer metal. So as you pull the slides in and out, you'll get more wear and you'll have to take it to your repair person to get the slides expanded much sooner than you would with a horn that uses nickel silver slides and slide tubes. This has a 4/68 inch bore, or 11.9 millimeters. Again, bore size, I think people kind of can get too caught up in bore size because they believe that, you know, it really affects the resistance, and it does affect the resistance, but it affects the resistance in concert with the taper of the mouth pipe, the taper of the first branch, and the taper of the bell tail. And of those four items I just mentioned, bore size would probably be the least important as far as the resistance, determining the resistance of the horn. Medium bell throat, again, super subjective. On the Conn website, they actually call it a small bell throat, but I would definitely call it as medium. I don't really even know what a small is, but again, that's just a subjective size. I put medium in its description to just show that it's similar to a medium belled Geyer style horn. Okay, and then no water key. Sadly, I've been finding that with a lot of new horns, things like water keys are just being eliminated, and it's a cost-saving measure when it comes down to it. If you ask the manufacturers, they'll say it's for customization, and well, you can choose the water key that you want and have it installed yourself, you know, and get it put in the right position. But it's just a cost savings thing, and I'm a little disappointed. But no water key on this. Fixed pinky hook, and made in the USA. One other thing that Conn has been doing with their modern horns is that they've been getting rid of the bell cap molding here. So the bell cap molding is a piece of usually nickel silver that's added to this part of the bell to protect it against your left hand, the corrosive effects of your left hand. Now, I don't know how much of a longevity difference that will make. They removed that because they felt that the horns played better without that bell cap molding. But if I were going to play one of these horns, I would definitely use it with a hand guard. And I guess that's it for the specs. Now let's see if we have any questions or chat. So I do monitor chat in these sessions, and I love questions. So we have Currently waiting for my 180K JN while I watch this video. Well, I hope you enjoy it, Nathan. If you have any questions about it, go ahead and contact us. It's really one of the best deals in the shop. I don't think you can go wrong with it. It's a sub $8,000 German custom made horn. So we have one from Matthew Otto. Is the valve cluster the same one from the 8D, bore size, etc.? And just the first branch, bell branch and lead pipe tapers from the old 6D? As far as I know, yes, all of those things are correct. It is the same, the exact same valve cluster from the 8D. And same linkages too. So these linkages, if you saw my 8D video, I complained quite a bit about the linkages, but they have updated it on this model and on the new 8D. So it now has articulated levers. I don't know if you can really see in the camera here, but it has articulated levers here. And the thumb is now also string linkage instead of being mechanical linkage. And it does improve the feel quite a bit. The texture on them is, I'm getting used to it. It's a little weird at first, but I like the fact that it's a little grippy. The texture is because these levers are made of 3D printed stainless steel. Well, I think it's 3D printed stainless steel. It might be 3D printed some other metal, but anyway, they are 3D printed, and things that are 3D printed have a unique texture to them. So that texture is on these levers. And then and I should say that the bell branch, the lead pipe, and the first branch tapers that were taken from the 6D were actually taken from the original specifications for the 6D. So not from the more recent 6Ds that have been made, but from the original 6Ds that were made in 20s and 30s. Okay, let me see here. Doesn't Adam Wolf play a 6D? Yes, as far as I know. I haven't seen Adam in a while, but from what I've heard, he's playing a 6D and still loving it. Here we go. I'm familiar with those levers. It is the same old articulated thumb lever. No, this thumb lever is actually a string linkage now. So the more recent Eastlake Kruspe style horns had a mechanical linkage, which had quite a big throw to it. So this is an improvement. Although I will say some of the older Elkhart 8Ds do have string linkage, but I'm not familiar enough with that linkage to compare my memory of that string linkage to the string linkage that's being used here. Okay. So we have, as a middle school band director, question about the 6D. I know there is mention of it being a more compact wrap. Do you feel like it would be a good choice for my smaller sized horn players? Yeah, I really do. So the wrap is not, it might be slightly more compact than other Kruspe style horns, but it seems about the same to me. But the nice thing about that is that it is going to be smaller. Even if it's the same as most other Kruspe style horns, that still makes it a smaller wrap than almost any Geyer style horn. So if you're comparing the 6D versus the 10D and the 11D, the 6D will have a smaller wrap. This horn, my only concern, and you'd want to get it in one of your students' hands for yourself to see how they feel about it, is that this is not super light. Now, it's not a heavy horn by any means, but there are lighter options on the market if that's a concern. So such as the Paxman Academy or our Veris 5 horn. Those would be much lighter options than the 6D for small students. Okay, 3D printed, cool. I'm late, but what about 3D printing? The levers and the linkages are 3D printed on all of the newer Conn horns. So Conn 6D, 8D, 10D, 11D. That's something that's very recent in the last few months or so. The old linkages have been changed to articulated. It's still string linkage, but the linkages are articulated here instead of being fixed, and they're 3D printed. Okay. My school is lucky to have several 8Ds, but some of my smaller 6th graders have trouble getting a good posture with the 8D. So in that case, I don't think the 6D would be much of an improvement on that. Although if you want me to talk more about posture, I do have ideas on that. I spent many years teaching small kids. And, in Texas, they start out students in 6th grade on full double horns. And I know in lots of other states, they start them out on single horns and other lighter horns. But here in Texas, they do full double horns. So I ended up working out quite a few ways to help them with their posture on a larger horn. Okay. All right. I think that is the end of the questions here. Okay. Again, thank you for joining me. As long as you guys keep watching, I will keep doing these reviews. Next week, if the horns are still here, I plan on doing a comparison between the Conn 8D and the Yamaha 672. So you can keep a watch out for that. Everything I talk about, the horns and everything, are available at houghtonhorns.com. And thank you very much.